When I was in high school, all of my friends became obsessed with the show The Vampire Diaries. This show is about a girl whose parents died, but she meets a vampire who changes her life. At first, I thought it was just some silly show and I was not interested at all. But as I started to watch, I got very curious. I became obsessed with the show myself, and I tried to learn more about vampires. I started to watch the History Channel, which has a show about vampires. I loved it so much, and I started to learn much more. How many of you have seen a show about vampires like Twilight or The Vampire Diaries, even the cartoon Hotel Transylvania? We've all seen it, and some of us have even dressed up as vampires for Halloween. We all know of the sharp teeth and the blood-sucking creatures, but how many of us actually know real information about the start of vampires? Today I'm going to talk about the history of vampires, what vampires look like in the modern world, and how to actually become a vampire. The history of vampires began in 1456, according to History.com. Since then, the idea of vampires has changed and evolved with the world. Britannica says that the idea of vampires thrived in Europe in the Middle Ages. This was because of the plague. The plague took over Europe and caused many deaths. Many people started to believe that vampires were involved because of how quickly people were dying. Paul Barber writes in his book, Vampires, Burial and Death, Folklore and Reality, that an ex-soldier from Siberia was the first supposed vampire who caught the attention of investigators. This investigation seems to confirm the idea that vampires are real, but many still do not know. So we've learned about some of the history of vampires, but how will this translate into the modern world? Vlad the Impaler ruled in the 1400s in Romania, and he was thought to be a vampire by many people. He loved to kill and enjoy the blood of his victims with dinner. This is where the movie Hotel Transylvania stemmed. Hotel Transylvania is a cartoon that is very funny and fun to watch, but it has deep roots in the history of vampires. The place that the show is made is a real place where Vlad the Impaler ruled. Twilight is also a show about vampires that many people know of. It's a huge series that I myself have the entire book to. Twilight shows Edward with sparkly skin that can't be in the sun without special ring. He is beautiful and Bella becomes obsessed with him. This idea of vampires is a wonderful love story that everyone loves, similar to The Vampire Diaries. This is a trendy show that shows that you can live with a vampire happily ever after and they're not dangerous at all. So, we've all seen a show about a vampire and even swooned over them, but how do you actually become a vampire? Britannica says that the most common way to become a vampire is to be bit by one. Some even say that you must intake their blood after being bit. Vampires are not immortal. They can be killed by a stake to the heart or a fire, but they can heal extremely fast that helps them live past things that normal humans would not live past. So today we've learned about the history of vampires, vampires in the modern world, and how to become a vampire. Next time you're watching The Vampire Diaries, Twilight, or Hotel Transylvania, you will remember what we've talked about today, and you will understand the show way more.